Please welcome Montgomery County Councilmember Valerie Ervin.
Good morning. My name is Valerie Ervin, and I'm the daughter of a career Air Force enlisted soldier and a Montgomery County council member. My father left Alabama in 1945 to join the Army. He lied about his age. He first enlisted in the Army, and when President Truman signed the executive order integrating the military, he enlisted in the Air Force. I was born on Anderson Air Force Base on the island of Guam to two very young parents. My four siblings and I grew up on military bases, and we moved around a lot. I remember my mother starching and ironing my father's fatigues, and when my father was home on Sunday nights, he would bring his shoe kit into the living room and polish his boots and his dress shoes until they shined like glass. I was always proud of my father growing up, but I never understood that what he was doing each and every single day for almost 30 years was serving our country, and that he was willing to give his life in that service. This became true for me when my father was deployed to Vietnam to serve there for 1 year when I was in junior high school. I remember how unpopular the Vietnam War was at the time. We didn't have the internet then, so we wrote lots of letters back and forth. When my father returned home, he didn't talk much about his experience for many years until he got sick from exposure to Agent Orange. He visited here in Montgomery County before he died, and he asked me to take him to the Vietnam War Memorial. I had never seen my father shed a tear until then. He spent hours searching for the soldiers that he served with, and he stood at that wall for a long, long time. Afterwards, he talked about the friends that he had lost and how the sacrifices of those men and women should never be forgotten. I'm wearing a button today, a photograph of my father in his fatigues taken around 1973, and also a button of my nephew, who is a staff sergeant in the Air Force who just returned home from Korea. I also want to mention the sacrifices made by military families each and every day, the courage and optimism that is necessary to bear the long separations from loved ones is often more difficult than many people will ever know. My father's military service inspired me to a life of public service, and there is not a day that goes by that I don't talk to him and ask him for his advice. Today, we are here to say thank you. President Obama said it best in his speech last week at the Democratic National Convention, and I quote, "Yes, our path is harder, but it leads to a better place. Yes, our road is longer, but we travel it together. We don't turn back. We leave no one behind." So many of your lives are based on these principles, and your service to our nation is what makes America the greatest place on earth. Thank you for your commitment and sacrifice on behalf of a grateful nation.